Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Akalil Ahmad bin Dzulkifli from University Technical Malaysia Melaka. Today, I want to present my Bachelor's Degree Project 1 progress. I am supervised by TS AZMAN bin Ibrahim and my title is Simulation Study on Thermal Comfort and Air Distribution on Baby Stroller. So, this is the topic that I will go through in this presentation. I will start with the introduction, a summary of the literature review, methodology, and finally, preliminary findings of this study. Introduction. According to Report Linker 2020, the compound annual growth rate for baby strollers globally is expected to increase by 6% every year from 2019 to 2025, as shown in Figure 1. Next, fact, the MR 2021 had listed that Europe is leading the global baby stroller market in 2022, followed by North America, East Asia, South Asia, Oceania, Latin America, and the Middle East and Africa. Our country, Malaysia, is contributing the baby stroller sales in the South Asia region, which is top 4 in the global market. In 2020, the total number of newborns registered in Malaysia is 470,195. Even though the total number of newborns is decreasing from last year, which is 487,957, which is 3.6%, the numbers still show a high amount of newborns. Therefore, this high number of newborns indicates the number of baby strollers purchased by parents to navigate their newborns in the outside world. This statistic is reported by MOHD in 2019. Next, we move on to problem statement. There are two main concerns that all the parents is mandatory to know about if they got a newborn in their family. The concerns are lack of ventilation and overheating. Waller 2021 mentioned that covering a baby stroller can increase the risk of heat stroke and possible sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS. It is proven by their experiment that the baby stroller without cover is 22 degrees Celsius and the covered baby stroller range between 34 to 37 degrees Celsius. The reason is that the lack of ventilation inside the stroller can accumulate heat over an extended period. Next, Spencer 2015 says that SIDS has been increasing since 2008. Office for National Statistics (ONS) mentioned that around 259 newborns died unexplainedly in England and Wales. Most of the baby found was covered by multiple layers of blankets inside their room. This problem is triggering overheating and increasing the risk of SIDS. Objective. The first objective of this research is to improve an infant's air ventilation and thermal comfort inside a baby stroller, followed by comparing 3 concept designs of fabric ducts based on their performance, and finally, to simulate airflow distribution using ANSYS 2021 R2 software. The scope of this study will focus on a non-moving outside-facing stroller for the experiment. Next, temperature, velocity, and airflow pattern are the parameters for the experiment and simulation. After that, the experiment will be conducted at IBRAHIM Melaka, Malaysia. And finally, ANSYS 2021 R2 software is used to simulate a stationary baby stroller seat. Now we move on to the literature review. Baker 2018 defined a baby stroller as a type of kit transportation equipment with a handlebar that allows parents or users to push it and carry the baby to a location. Parents can carry their infants around more comfortably, accessible, and safer. Furthermore, baby strollers are essential for managing life with a newborn and lighten the burden of carrying a newborn or young child on short or long trips, according to Koch 2019. Birkin 2015 had listed the reasons parents use the baby stroller. which is for transportation, storage, leisure, supervision, parent physical activity, and sleep are reasons of parents using a baby stroller. Next, thermal comfort. Thermal comfort is a subjective state of mind that expresses contentment with the thermal environment according to the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers et al. 2017. It also can be defined as a person's mental condition regarding whether they are too hot or too cool, says Health and Safety Executive 2022. Next, Grand Mechanical Incorporated 2015 listed 6 factors of thermal comfort for a person. The factors are atmospheric temperature, radiant temperature, relative humidity, air velocity, garment insulation, and metabolic heat. According to Wright 2022, the newborn's average temperature was 37 to 37.9 degrees Celsius. Baby has the highest average temperature compared to other stages like children, adults, and old age. The forehead, rectal, and ear are the parts of a newborn with the highest temperature. Therefore, parents should keep their infant's average temperature by touching those parts to see whether the baby is too cold or too hot for the baby to achieve thermal comfort. Next, I will briefly explain the fabric duct, centrifugal fan, and simulation. Fabric duct. A fabric duct is a ventilation system that consists of air-moving equipment, according to the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety, 2016. Fabric duct also can be defined as a type of ventilation ducting made of any fabric material like polyester and comes in various shapes, says fabric duct supplier MOHD 2015. Marketers 2013 says the benefits of using fabric duct over steel duct is productivity improve, great efficiency, solving thermal comfort issue, require lesser installation time, and improve interior environment. Next, centrifugal fan. A centrifugal fan is a blower that takes wind through into the impeller before dispersing it at a 90-degree inclination, according to ProLight 2020. Energy efficiency, better durability, limited overloading, ease of maintenance, high adaptability, and various diameters are the benefits of centrifugal fan, according to Halonis 2014. Finally, simulation. Shannon 1975 defined simulation as designing a model to understand the application's behavior for a control system. In addition, simulation is the evolution of a real-world process and is required to build an artificial system past before examining false history, says Banks 1999. Simulation can examine a complicated system, accurate results, visualize the final result, simulate something's behavior without having to build it, and can identify flaws in a system, according to Rahman 2008. This is the research gap for this study. The purpose of the research gap is to compare the proposed study with the previous study to find the area that the previous researcher did not accomplish during that time. It consists of 6 research and 5 patents in this research gap. As you can see in this slide, this is a comparison between previous research and proposed study. Most of it does not include air distribution simulation, usage of fabric duct, and thermal analysis. The following slide compares the previous patent and the proposed study. This table shows the most inventors does not include their simulation result. Application of fabric duct in their product does not include a fan for creating ventilation and thermal analysis to see whether thermal comfort is good or bad. You can pause this video to understand this section better if the video goes too fast. Now we move on to the methodology. Flowchart of methodology. As you can see on the screen, this is the flowchart of the methodology used in this study. It starts with literature review, site selection, data sampling, concept design, simulation, and analysis results. Experiment procedure. It consists of 4 steps. These are the steps used for our experiment to collect the data required for the simulation process. The step is set up the tools like an anemometer, thermometer, and else at the desired place. Next, run the experiment to measure temperature and velocity reading. Step 3, generate the graph using the proper software. For temperature reading, we use SE309 software with data logger features, which can automatically create the graph inside the laptop. For velocity reading, we use Microsoft Excel to create the comparison graph. The final step is documentation. Present the data using a table matrix to identify its condition and achievement in Chapter 4 of thesis writing, preliminary findings. So these are the selected locations for running the experiment. The locations are the food court at Maidin MITC Aikro, Melaka, for indoor, and playground at Kawasan Rekreasi Tasik Aikro, Melaka. Next, we move on to the tools used in the experiment. There are 5 tools used for this experiment, which are anemometer for measuring velocity, thermometer to measure ambient and baby stroller temperature, baby stroller, stopwatch to measure the time taken, and duct tape to secure a tool on another place. Next, these are the tools set up on the baby stroller. As you can see in this slide, the anemometer and thermocouple are placed inside the stroller, while another thermocouple is placed outside the baby stroller. For the thermometer, we place at the stroller's storage on the back of the canopy so that the thermocouple could reach inside and outside. This slide shows the parameters set by us throughout the experiment period, so we can avoid unnecessary things happening during this period. We collect ambient temperature readings, baby stroller temperature readings, and velocity readings in the experiment. Each of the readings consists of 3 tests: Test 1, Test 2, and Test 3. Ambient and baby stroller temperature determines the thermal comfort of the baby stroller, whether it is achieved or otherwise. Meanwhile, velocity reading is for determining the ventilation inside the baby stroller. Each test runs for 30 minutes starting from 10 a.m. Next, the interval for taking readings is 30 seconds. Finally, the condition of baby stroller is non-moving and whether it is on a sunny day. After the experiment is done, all the data will be used for running a simulation. Therefore, as shown in this slide, 3 concept designs were created for that purpose: Design A, Design B, and Design C. These concept designs were drawn using CATIA V5 software, and this process aims to determine which one of the 3 designs has the best performance in terms of thermal comfort and airflow criteria. Now we move on to the last part, which is preliminary findings. This slide shows the results of ambient and baby stroller temperature readings. The average infant's temperature was set to 37.5 degrees Celsius to determine the test thermal comfort. If the average baby stroller temperature exceeds the average infant's temperature, then the test was considered not achieving thermal comfort. For this table, only test 1 achieves thermal comfort for outdoor conditions, and test 2 and test 3 achieve thermal comfort for indoor conditions. If the stroller is exposed to sunlight for extended periods, the average baby stroller temperature will gradually increase. Meanwhile, if the stroller is in an indoor environment, for example under a roof or shades, it will decrease the average baby stroller temperature. This shows the baby stroller can cool down in an indoor environment. Next, this slide shows the results of velocity readings. The average velocity in the indoor environment for test 1, test 2, and 3 is higher than the average velocity for outdoor. This difference is because of the location factor. For indoors, there is some air blocker like pillars, walls, and many more. As the wind flows indoors, the air will be trapped and got nowhere to go, accumulating air inside the indoor environment. Therefore, air circulation creates ventilation, which can cool down or protect from sunlight heat. In conclusion, indoor situations have a better air ventilation than outdoors ones. So that's all from me for Bachelor's Degree Project 1 progress. Thank you for watching and listening this video. Bye bye and Assalamualaikum.